Fun fact, only 4.8% of you guys are subscribed to the channel, so please, if you do enjoy the video, consider subscribing. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, or at least like the video, as it doesn't hurt you at all and it only helps me. Comment any questions that you do have down below and enjoy. In today's video, I will be showing you guys the best builds for every single position. The first build that we are going to start things off with is going to be the center build. Now, I know I said center build, but we're actually going to make him a power forward just because you're faster and you get more badges, you get better attributes. Overall, it's just way better to be a power forward. For the body settings, you're going to want to drop the height 1 to 6'8". You guys can just see how much this helps, and pretty much everything you lose by dropping it to 6'8", you can make back just by maxing out your wingspan. And then what you're going to want to do is drop the weight all the way down to minimum, since you actually don't really need strength that much on this build, since you're not going to be posting people up. I've seen people say that you need strength in order to box people out, but it's actually not true. If you've boxed on silver, you can do this super well even without strength. On this screen, as usual, we are just going to go ahead and get all of the obvious things out of the way. Boom! And just like that, all the obvious things are out of the way completely. The very first thing that I am going to go ahead and do is scroll up to defensive/rebounding and put up my perimeter defense up to an 80. The reason why you're going to put it up to exactly 80 is because you need gold clamps. This is just super important for Park. Without clamps, you won't be able to guard anybody. Then what we can go ahead and do is bump up our offensive rebound to a 91 to have 28 defensive and rebounding badges. Scrolling up here to shooting, let's bump up our free throw a little bit to have 11 shooting badges. Then for finishing, we're going to boost our post control just a tad bit, just 5 attributes up to 22 finishing badges and a 30 post control. With the rest of our attributes, let's just go ahead and throw all of them onto playmaking. 27 is a bit too much, even though you can get a ton of badges on this build. It is worth it just to drop down to just 26. As you can see, if we throw the rest of the attributes onto strength, we can have 62 strength. Now, I know I stated earlier that you don't really need strength, but you do need 62 strength because that lets you get gold brick wall, which is extremely important, especially since you're setting screens almost every single possession on this build. Moving on to takeovers, in my opinion, the best takeovers for an outside center is going to be spot up precision, and then number 2, I'd recommend going with a rebounding takeover, and for me that is see the future. As you can see, we have made a playmaking 3-level score, which I kind of don't understand why defense is not in the name whatsoever. But moving on to build number 2. Build number 2 is going to be your power forward build. Now this is going to be probably, in my opinion, the best Park build, since it can do literally absolutely everything. For the height, we're going to drop it all the way down to 6'7" just to maximize the speed, since this is going to be kind of like a point forward type build. And then what we can go ahead and do is max out the wingspan and drop the weight all the way down to minimum. Actually, we're just going to increase the weight by 1. On the screen, as usual, let's just go get the obvious things out of the way right now. And boom, just like that, all the obvious things are out of the way. The first thing that we're going to do is max out offensive rebound. We can drop this down to an 86 and still have 24 defensive and rebounding badges. And then scrolling up here to finishing, we can put up our post control to a 56 in order to have 17 finishing badges. And then after that, the best way to maximize badges is to have 22 shooting badges and 21 playmaking badges. Then scroll down here, stamina, drop it down to an 89. Put 1 attribute on pass accuracy and you'll have 22 playmaking badges. As you can see, you can get so many badges on this build. It's absolutely absurd. You can get 85 badges total, and you pretty much do every single thing on this build. Additionally, you also have max physicals, which is absolutely clutch. Moving on to takeovers, what you're going to want to go ahead and do is for the first takeover, go with spot precision. This is just best takeover in the game. And then for takeover number 2, you can either go with limitless range, but for me, I feel like finishing moves has been actually pretty good. As you see, we built a scoring machine, which I get literally every single time, and I don't know why. I have 24 defensive and rebounding badges, and yet I don't have a 2-way scoring machine yet. Moving on to build number 3. Moving on to build number 3, and this build number 3 is going to be a small forward lockdown build. For the body settings, the first thing that you're going to want to do is drop the height down to 1, and then drop the weight all the way down to minimum. And since obviously you are a lockdown, you're going to want to max out your wingspan to maximize your defensive ratings. As usual, let's just go ahead and get all of the obvious things out of the way right now. And boom, just like that, all the obvious things are out of the way. The first thing that we're going to do is bump up the offensive rebound to a 78 to have 27 defensive and rebound badges. As you can see, I haven't touched playmaking yet, since you really don't need playmaking on a lockdown build, since you're never really going to be dribbling or passing very much. But what I am going to do is max out the speed with ball and pump up the ball handle just a little bit so we can have 4 playmaking badges. The reason why I do this is because from time to time you're going to rim run, and also let's say you get the ball and you're dribbling it up the court, you don't really want to be going super slow. So going up here to shooting, we're going to max this out obviously so we can have 24 shooting badges, which actually isn't that many. I'm going to drop my free throw down to a 93 to just maximize the attributes. Scrolling up here to finishing, we're going to max out our sand dunk because that's the best thing to upgrade in finishing to maximize badges. And then with the rest of our attributes, we're going to throw it all on driving layup and you'll have exactly 8 finishing badges. In my comp lockdown build that I posted the other day, a lot of people are saying that you need pass accuracy. First off, that's completely wrong for a comp lockdown build. You will never be making a pass that isn't a handoff to your guard. Sure, it is nice to have pass accuracy, but as you guys can see, if I drop my ball handle and my speed of ball and throw it all on pass accuracy, I can have an 86 pass accuracy with 0 playmaking badges. Moving on to takeovers. Since I am a lockdown build, I'm going to go with extreme clamps for the first takeover. And then for takeover number 2, let's just go ahead and throw it on spot precision. And as you guys can see, I have built a 2-way 3-level scorer, which I guess is actually a somewhat fitting name. Moving on to build number 4. Moving on to build number 4, this is going to be the shooting guard build. It's going to be kind of like a pure sharp type build. For the height, we're going to bump it up 1 to 6'6", and then we're also going to drop the wingspan down 1 to 6'9", so that way we can still have a 95 3-pointer. You can also drop the weight down to basically minimum to maximize speed and acceleration. As always on this screen, let's just go ahead and get the obvious things out of the way right now. Boom, and just like that, all of the obvious things are out of the way. The first thing that I am going to do is scroll up here to pass accuracy, bump up my pass accuracy to a 51 to have 9 playmaking badges. Obviously, we're kind of a pure sharp build, but having 30 shooting badges is just way too much, and at that point, you're kind of just throwing on whatever you want. So I recommend going with 27 and having an 82 free throw. Staying dunk is the best thing to upgrade, and if you put this up to a 52, you can have 4 finishing badges, which means you can have Hall of Fame posterizer. And then with the rest of our attributes, we're going to go ahead and bump up our steal to a 48 and then bump up our interior defense to a 50. This way we can have exactly 17 defensive and rebounding badges. Moving on to the takeovers, the first takeover you're obviously going to want to go with is extreme clamps. This is still just the best takeover, and you really don't need a sharp takeover with this many badges. And then with takeover number 2, I'd recommend going with spot of precision. As you can see, we built a 2-way scoring machine. And moving on to the final build of the video is going to be the point guard build. Moving on to the 5th and final build, the point guard build. Obviously, you're going to need to be a point guard. For the botting settings, I have experimented with this a little bit, and I'd recommend going with 6'3" and 6'9" wingspan, and then dropping the weight down, not to minimum, but to 180. The reason why you're going to want to go with 180 instead of minimum is because if you go any higher, you'll lose speed and acceleration, and if you go any lower, you're just losing attributes for no reason. As always on the screen, let's get the obvious things out of the way right now. Boom, just like that, all the obvious things are out of the way. The very first thing that I am going to do is scroll up to the very top and max out post control. Post control on a point guard build is the best thing to upgrade to maximize badges. And then if we go up to driving layup, we can bump this up just to a 78 to have 9 finishing badges. If we scroll down to offensive rebound and put our offensive rebound up to a 63, we can have 12 defensive and rebounding badges. Scrolling up here to playmaking, we're going to put our pass accuracy up to a 69 to have 18 playmaking badges. And then you can go ahead and throw the rest of the attributes on shooting to have 21 shooting badges. I've seen a lot of people dropping speed and acceleration down to a 91 since you don't get that many badges on this build. And the reason why they do this is because when you have Gym Rat and hit 99 overall, you can still have 99 speed and acceleration. If you are willing to grind to Gym Rat and 99 overall, you can go ahead and drop these down to a 91 each. And then you can put the free throw up to a 70 and have 23 shooting badges, and put the pass accuracy up to a 72 and have 19 playmaking badges. If you scroll down here and go to stamina and drop it down just 1, you can get an entire playmaking badge, which I think is more than worth it. Moving on to takeovers. For takeover number 1, obviously you're going to want to go with spot up precision, and then for takeover number 2, you can go ankle breaking shots, but personally I think double sharp take is the way to go. As you can see, for the point guard build, I've built a scoring machine. Anyways, y'all, that's pretty much it for the video. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to it, as it does help me out so much. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, and I'm out.